Hi, I've been hearing lately this term, regulate your nervous system. I'm pretty sure you've heard it too. It's the buzzword nowadays. We need to regulate our nervous system. What is meant by that? Well, I can only guess what it means. I know that our nervous system is a system in our body that allows us to respond to the stimuli around us. There are many different stimuli that we respond to. We respond to light, respond to sound, we respond to touch, we respond to sense, odor, fragrances. Even on the subliminal level, the odors that we emit that trigger response in others, right? Pheromones and so on. On the subliminal level, we respond to taste and chemicals in food and a lot of things. And especially nowadays where the technology is so advanced and we are so bombarded by all these sounds, the gadgets, the lights. It's like a constant bombardment. And maybe that's why it is so common these days to hear the term regulate your nervous system. We need to regulate our nervous system. I know to regulate something means to keep it in check, to keep it balanced, keep it flowing smoothly. Just like any other system of the body, if our nervous system is not flowing smoothly, remember the nerves work on electrical impulses and it's literally a highway, an electrical highway. And just like with any other highway, just like with the blood flowing through our system or with the lymph flowing through our system, if there are blockages, then just like when you're on the road, if there are blockages, if something is not flowing as smoothly as it should, it causes traffic jam, it causes congestion. Same way in the body. If your blood isn't flowing and there is a blockage, we know how severe that can be. Heart attack, stroke, cut off blood flow, cells die. If the lymph isn't flowing properly, we know the body doesn't get to drain the waste from it and it builds up. There's a congestion there and it causes all manner of problems. If your nervous system, if those impulses aren't flowing from one neuron to the next, there can be problems, right? We might not react as quickly as we should to the stimuli, and that can put us in danger. Or we might react too quickly, get too easily angered, on edge, and that too can be a problem for us and for those around us. So this morning, it just, well, I think I was listening to a video or watching a video, and they were talking about the same thing, regulating the nervous system. And I was saying to myself, let me think of some ways that that would help. How would it help you if you have a regulated nervous system? Now, the first thing I can think of is that you will be calm. A regulated nervous system will allow you to stay calm. I think calmness is my superpower. From I was a young girl, I've always been told you are so calm, you're so cool and collected. And I used to joke about it. I used to say, well, if I am ever in a situation where there is some mistaken identity or something, or I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and someone got hurt and I was taken to court, they would probably think I did it. Or if I did it in self defense, they'd probably think it was malicious because I would just be so calm. And I always say that, the judge would say, how is this person so calm in this situation? No, something must be up. It's something I used to joke about because I know how I react. It doesn't matter what the crisis is. It does not matter what the crisis is. I am usually just so calm. And there's a reason I think I've been able to do this because from an early age, I started meditating, visualizing, and it really has helped me to just stay calm no matter what is happening. So a regulated nervous system would allow you to have a calm response. It would improve your mood, your well-being, just your whole emotional tolerance to things, right? Knowing that whatever this is, it will pass. It will pass. It's a saying that we have, this too shall pass, and it usually does pass. Think back of all the crises that you've been through in your life. Didn't it all pass? There were times when we were eagerly expecting or anticipating or dreading something, and whatever that thing was, whether we were eagerly awaiting it or or fearing it, didn't it come and pass? Hasn't it gone? It's the same way. The things of the future, they will come and they will go. And as long as you have life, you will find a way to get through it. A regulated nervous system will enhance your focus. There are things that we want to achieve, and we have to have the kind of focus, bullseye focus. You're heading towards your goal, and you have to stare it down. Just like when the horse is going on that home stretch with the visor and it can only see what's in front. Or even if it's aware of what's coming to the left or right, but its main focus is what is ahead of me. So it enhances your focus, your mental clarity. A regulated nervous system also supports your digestion, which is a thing that I notice a lot of persons have issues with digestion. We are not eating the right foods. That's one. We are eating very late. That's another thing that's affecting the digestion. So all of those things combined causes digestive upset, and once your digestive system is upset, it affects your brain, your nervous system. They say that the stomach is your second nervous system, right? Because the brain and the stomach are directly related, right? So digestion, the gut brain connection is very strong, and a regulated nervous system will see you having your meals at good times so that you'll have a good space between your last meal and when you go to sleep, and not and when you wake up, you don't keep pushing food down into your tummy as soon as you wake up. So you leave enough space and you eat the right things. You make sure that you have lots of fruits, veggies, water to support your gut health. Another thing is a regulated nervous system would mean that you get enough sleep, enough rest, even nap during the day. Yes, as adults, napping for a half an hour, right? Just to get that rest. I find for me, I don't need a lot of sleep, to be honest with you. And if I try to sleep more than my body needs it, I just cannot do it. My body will just wake me up. And maybe it's because from a little girl, I used to wake at 4 in the mornings to go to school, because where I live, we had terrible transportation problem. So my grandfather would make sure, wake me up at 4, get me and my auntie ready, and take us to get the bus. And it was a grueling journey. So I'm just accustomed to rising at 4. And throughout my life, it's always been that way. So I've always, as a writer, I write best in the wee hours. So I'm always up. And then studying for my degrees, I've been up. So it's a part of me. So I don't think I could sleep beyond a certain hour in the morning. My body would just not want to be in the bed. I'd want to be up and about and doing my walks and my, skipping and meditating and all of that. Right. But for you, you have to know what your workload is and make sure that you get adequate rest. You know yourself, you know how edgy you become when you don't get the rest that you need for your activities. So everybody is different. I can't tell you how much rest you need. You have to know. You know your body. You know how much rest you need. So don't get too much, but also make sure that you don't get so little that you can't function and you're at work not enough, or you're in class not enough, or you're not being able to pay as much attention to the things that you need to pay attention to. A regulated nervous system would mean your anxiety decreases. I spoke in another video that I did this morning about one of my students who is 8 years old, and he was telling me about his panic attacks that he has at 8 years old. Now, we know that our children are exposed to these stimuli that maybe we growing up weren't even exposed to. With all this technology now, the constant beeping, the gadgets, everything is making a beep constantly. And this can throw your nervous system out of whack. So when your nervous system is regulated, you will have less anxiety, less panic attacks, or none at all. Right? People who have had panic attacks have told me that they literally feel like they are going to die. They literally feel like they are dying, and usually end up in the hospital until the attack is abated. So I imagine it's a really terrible feeling. And can you just imagine what it's like for a child to go through that? So we have to ensure that our children get the necessary rest that they need, the break, give them a break from the gadgets sometimes. Let them move away from the phone, the tablet, the laptop, the bright lights. Let them go out into the sunlight for a little. In the morning sunshine, take some fresh air, walk in the park, right? A regulated nervous system would increase your self-awareness, your mind-body connection, your sense of being connected to the source, to the universe. You're a part of it. You are within it. You are a part of it. And that feeling of belonging, that feeling of having an impact, even though we are minuscule by comparison to the whole, we are still a part of the whole, and we have an impact on the whole. One drop of water has an impact on the ocean, right? So we need to feel connected and to understand that we influence reality. We influence our reality, we influence the reality around us on a bigger scale. A regulated nervous system will boost your immunity, your immune system, because, like I said, it needs to flow. The systems of our body need to flow. It's all about fluidity. The blood needs to flow. If the blood is congested, if there's a blood clot, that's a danger. Cells will get cut off of oxygen, they will die, you will die. If your lymph is not flowing, you will die from disease. If your nerves aren't sending those impulses to your muscles, sending those thoughts, impulses, how are you going to function? It has to flow. So that really is your immunity, Your immunity is really the fluidity of substances in your body, the electrical impulses, the blood, the lymph that is clearing away the debris that is created on a daily basis. If that is not constantly being flushed away, that is disease. That is what causes disease, right? And being calm, being rested, being exposed to fresh air and good food and all of that, meditating and all of that, that will help for our systems to flow. Having a regulated nervous system improves your relationships, your interactions with those around you. I am an introvert, but I have very good relations to those who are in my circle, in my inner circle and my outer circle. I'm a teacher, and so I interact with kids 5 days a week for many hours per day. And I have to be able to deal with them because they are going through their own little phases, their own stresses, and I have to learn. It's an ongoing process, but I have to learn how to communicate with them and how to interpret their communication, not misinterpret it and not take it personally, because their brains are just forming. They are just learning how to navigate this world. And so, as a teacher, as a parent, as a writer, I have to know how to read people and how to communicate with them, build relationships with them. And even though I am introverted and I love my own company, I have to interact with others. A regulated nervous system will increase your resilience and how you cope with stress and how you cope with adversity, how you cope with, as the Desiderata said, sudden misfortune, right? Remember, the Desiderata says we're to foster strength of spirit to shield us from sudden misfortune. That's what it's all about. That there is a clincher. A regulated nervous system will allow you to respond well to adversity, to unexpected situations. Remain calm, remain composed, remain positive, and know that it will pass. It will pass. And all you need to do is be true to yourself, stay focused on your goals, and do the best that you can every day that you wake up. Do the best that you can and keep moving forward. Like the fluids in your body, you too must flow through life. Don't become stagnant. Don't be caught up on anything that has happened in the past and you're hanging on to that. No, let it go. Let it flow and you flow through life as well.